What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 bets that I've already got down on this upcoming slate on the NBA. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go. Before we jump into today's content, I must remind you guys of the giveaway that I have. Rebet is available in 46 out of 50 states. They also have an excellent deposit match. The giveaway, I'm giving $100 to 5 people who happen to sign up to Rebet and make their first $10 deposit. All you got to do is to make that deposit, take a screenshot, email it to me. I'll give you 30 days of my VIP picks for free. Plus, you're going to the draw to win $100. Now, that draw will be done once we hit 100 signups. We've already got 20 down and we're almost there. So I encourage you guys to check it out. The link for that is in the video description. Now let's get into it. Now, normally I'd be recapping the day that was, but given yesterday's video was me just deep diving the picks, it would take me ages to tell you how everything went. Plus, I don't even know. But I know that a lot of you guys cashed out. I read the comments in the last video. You guys are excellent at picking the picks when I explain them to you. So congrats to you. I'm glad you guys cashed out. I didn't. I fell a couple of units under. Got to be better. So I spent a bit more time on research today. So I'm getting this video out later. So it's not going to be as in-depth as we normally would. No deep dive today. Those things are tiring as hell. But let's get through some of these bets. First, we're using Props Madness. It's the best player prop research tool on the market. You guys have to check it out. 7-day free trial in the video description below. And you'll get 25% off if you use the code DAFT when you sign up. So heading through these games, don't have a bet on every single game, but I'll share with you what I got so far. The first one, we're looking at the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Not betting on any of the Celtics at the moment. A couple of game time decisions that we're waiting on. I think Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. We're not sure if they're going to play or not. So pumping the brakes over there. I think Giannis is a game time decision, but it looks like he's going to play. And we also see fish face Chris Middleton. He makes his first game of the season. Now, I'm clicking on Chris Middleton here because that's the bet that I have. Now, he's played 0 games this season, so you've got to dive into last season's data to figure out whether you can find a good bet. Almost everything you look at is going to be green because his lines are so low. So I'm assuming that he's going to have a minutes restriction here. And given that minutes restriction, I'll first let you know, I'm betting he's over 2.5 assists today. And for Chris Middleton, mucking around in these minutes, I've projected him to play less than 20. I think that's the cap. It's a usual cap for most people coming back from an injury. And when he plays less than 20 minutes, he did that 13 games last season. He actually went over this assist line in 8 out of those games, averaging 3.7 assists. He also played a game against Boston where he had 7 assists in 20 minutes of action. Now, I'm not saying that happens again, but the reason why I like this bet for Chris Middleton, one, he's surrounded by a lot of scoring options. They've got a lot of 3-point shooters from Dame, Lopez, AJ Green, Taurean Prince. But even Bobby Portis can get some buckets for you now and then. A lot of shooters are going to be on the floor around him. Plus, he's playing with Giannis, right? And with a line at 2.5, I think with the team that he has, he can fall into 3 assists, whether it be Giannis in transition, kickouts to Dame from deep, Brook Lopez, whoever it is. I think he can just fall into these 2.5 assists, and we can see it in the numbers here. When he plays less than 20 minutes, he's averaging 3.7 assists. So I don't think it's such a bad bet. I think this line's quite low. Now, if Chris Middleton plays only 10 minutes, then we're in trouble. Then this bet is absolutely awful. But looking at last season's data, not too many games where he played limited minutes. It looks like his minutes restriction was at about 20, especially when he came back from injury. First game back, he played 16 and 17 minutes. So, but in those games, 4 and 5 assists. So I'm happy to roll with Chris Middleton in this game. It's a risky one. So like I always say, listen to the bets, do your own research, bet the ones that you like as well. And at the end of the day, you can live with the decisions that you make and the outcomes that land. So Chris Middleton, that's the first bet I wanted to share with you guys. Next, we're looking at the Lakers versus the Hawks. And in this particular game, I got to run with the money man. It's Jalen Johnson, one of the most consistent players we have in the NBA at the moment, which means he's always pretty much close to his line. He's averaging 20 points per game, and he's landed on 20 points at least 8 times this season, which is pretty wild. So for Jalen Johnson, we're looking at his rebounds and assists in this game against the Los Angeles Lakers, taking him over 13.5. He's hit this in 14 out of 20 games this season, averaging 15.7 rebounds and assists. Now, when I did my research for this, I wanted to look specifically at the games with DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic, 2 key players. They both play about 25 minutes each. So I wanted to look at his form with both of those guys in the lineup and take a look. Jalen Johnson with DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovic in the lineup, He's hit this in 7 out of 8 games this season, averaging 15.8 rebounds and assists. Now, he's up against the Lakers today, who are absolutely awful right now. Awful at everything, let's just say it. And the matchup is fantastic. The Lakers' third most assists allowed. They're pretty average when it comes to rebounds allowed. Their defensive rating is terrible. They allow points in the paint, points on the perimeter. They're just dog shit right now. What happened to JJ Redick being the savior of the Lakers? Good luck to you. But Jalen Johnson, with Hunter and Bogdanovic, having DeAndre Hunter on there, I think that shores up their defense. He's a pretty good wing defender, where the Hawks have been getting torched all season. And Bogdanovic really gives them another scoring option, somebody who can really support in the Jalen Johnson assist side of things. So the numbers are too good for me to ignore here. So I'm taking Jalen Johnson over his rebounds and assists. I do absolutely love this play. The Hawks favored to win this game by 4.5 points. Don't get to say that too many times, but I think the Hawks bring it today. I've got a good idea. A lot of these Hawks players play quite well, but I'm waiting for all the lines to open up, see what other players and what opportunities that we find. For the Lakers, there's no lines available. LeBron's a game time decision. So nothing more we can do there. Heading into the next game, Pacers versus the Bulls. Normally, I get super excited when the Bulls are playing, but the Pacers right now, they stink. I'll be transparent with you. I did lean on taking Tyrese Halliburton over his assist prop. His line's at 9.5, but his assist numbers have been pretty ass as of late. Averaging 9.2 in his last 20 games, but he's gone under this in 4 straight games, hasn't gotten close to it. And Andrew Nembhard is a game time decision. Let me show you his numbers with Andrew Nembhard. Averaging 6.9 assists with Nembhard in the lineup. Just wildly inconsistent numbers here. I think if you're looking at scoring for the Pacers, Benedict Mathurin and Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, they're the 3 that I think can really turn it on here against the Bulls, who don't play much defense at all. But even their form has been patchy as hell. Pascal's been trashed for 3 games. Benedict Mathurin has been decent, I'd say. But these are the games with Nembhard. My bad. He's been a little bit inconsistent as of late. Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, he's been trash for his last 4 games. We spoke about Halliburton, his assists, that's been trash for 4 games. So the whole Pacers organization has been rubbish for 4 games now. Up against the Bulls, they should improve here. It's a 3.5 point spread, but who knows? I think the Bulls are playing better basketball right now, believe it or not. The Bulls are pretty competitive for the first 3 quarters, and against good teams, they can't hang with them in the 4th, but this Pacers team is not a good team. So I couldn't get a bet down. If I was going to get one down, it would have been on Benedict Mathurin or Miles Turner. And then looking at the Bulls, wasn't necessarily loving anything I saw there. Like Vucevic, their most consistent player, but his lines are quite high. Normally these graphs are green as, but his line's up at 21.5. In difficult matchups, his line's at about 15.5. So the sportsbook's predicting a big game out of Nikola Vucevic in this one. Just scored 39 against the Spurs on a back-to-back. I don't know if he could do it. So might be missing an opportunity to get some easy bets down here, but I just can't trust any of these players in this type of matchup right now. But we head to the Kings versus the Spurs. And I do have a bet in this one. And it's a pretty straightforward one. Rolling with Malik Monk here. Looking at his PRA. Over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, his last 5 games have been absolutely wild. 44, 41, 32, 31, and 29. The reason for this is he got promoted into the starting lineup, playing a ton of minutes, 35-plus minutes in every single game, and he's absolutely cooking right now. So his line's at 25.5. If you wanted to just look at the last 5 games, he's averaging 35.4 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, I wouldn't make my bets just because of that. One thing you have to do is factor in these first 2 games where he had 44 and 41 points, rebounds, and assists. DeMar DeRozan was missing both of those games. So to filter this better, we're looking at his last 5 with De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis. Actually, we'll get rid of the last 5. These are all his games this season with DeMar, De'Aaron Fox, and Sabonis. These last 3 games is when he made the jump into the starting lineup. So basically, he's averaging just under 31 points, rebounds, and assists with these 3 players since he's joined the starting lineup. He had 32 PRA against the same team he's playing today, the San Antonio Spurs. Lines are 25.5. I think we've got a bit of an edge here still on Malik Monk. The books are disrespecting him. So I do like it. Like he's over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. one thing to note, Victor Wembanyama, he's killed the Sacramento Kings in the last 2 games that he's played them. But Wemby is a game time decision in this one. We don't know whether he's going to suit up or not. So if he's confirmed in, he could be a good look because he's been killing the Kings. But that's the only bet that I'm willing to share on this particular game. Jumping into the Timberwolves versus the Golden State Warriors. There's a lot of game time decisions here, especially on the Warriors side of things. So I'm not touching anything there. But in terms of the Minnesota Timberwolves, rolling with a Frenchman here, Rudy Gobert, taking his over 10.5 rebounds today. Now, he's hit this in 11 out of his last 20 games, averaging 10.9 boards. So you're probably thinking there's got to be an angle here. Well, one thing that has impacted Rudy Gobert's ability to rebound in a lot of these games is the fact that it's a blowout. Whether they're getting blown out or doing the blowing, when his minutes are impacted, it's impossible for him to get these rebounds. So what I did is I filtered the games where he plays at least 33 minutes. And the reason why I picked 33 minutes is RotoWire is projecting him to play 35 minutes. I'm trying to be a little bit conservative by going with 33. So in games where he plays a minimum of 33 minutes, and let's reduce this down to a maximum of 40, he's over this line in 7 out of 11 games, averaging 11.8 rebounds. So the hit rate's not too bad. The matchup is a great one, though. The Golden State Warriors allow the 4th most rebounds in the league this season, and that's purely because of their lack of size down low. Another thing I love about this, check this out. Similar players' rebounds versus the Warriors. We can see here 7 out of the 9 players that the Warriors have played that are similar to Rudy Gobert have covered their rebounds lines by 1.72 boards, a 17% difference. Now, the good thing is I pretty much do this type of research every single day, so I can tell you what happened in these particular games. Daniel Gafford needed 6.5 rebounds, finished with 6, limited minutes, sharing time with Lively. And this one, Alperen Şengün, he had 10 rebounds, line was at 10.5. This was the fat shaming game where Udoka didn't play him in the second half because he wasn't happy with his play, but he was rebounding extremely well in that game against them. And I know that because I bet on it. But Rudy Gobert, hopefully, he can't get fat shamed. He's lanky as anything. But Rudy Gobert, I do like his rebounds over 10.5 here against the Golden State Warriors. Hope he cashes it easy. I don't want to be sweating on that one. But last one is in the Utah Jazz versus the Portland Trail Blazers. And I'm looking at Shaedon Sharpe here. Looking at him to make over 1.5 3-pointers made. Now, he's averaging 1.8 3-pointers made this season. He's hit this line in 50% of the games that he's played in. What I like about this play for Shaedon Sharpe is it's a home game for Portland, and at home, he hits a lot better. He's hit this in 4 out of 6 games at home this season. The 2 games where he didn't hit this, the volume was still nice. This game against Memphis, from deep, he shot 0 from 5 from downtown. And against the Sacramento Kings, he was 0 from 6. So even though he didn't hit any, the great thing is that he kept shooting. Now, the one thing I love about this is volume. At home this season, Shaedon Sharpe averaging 6.7 attempts per game from downtown. And we only need him to make 2 3-pointers in this one. His matchup is fantastic. This Utah Jazz team allow the 2nd most 3-pointers made this season. They've got the 2nd worst defensive rating. Pretty trash. The one thing about the Utah Jazz, though, is they're pretty good at limiting points to the pick and roll ball handlers. I'm thinking about Anthony Simons. So when Anthony Simons run those pick and rolls, they're going to force him to kick it out to the wing. So the Jazz, somewhat average at defending in the paint, but they're terrible defending the perimeter. If we just look at the shot charts here, we know Shaedon Sharpe likes to get it done on the perimeter. We're looking at 38% of his points come from the perimeter. And if we look at the defense here for the Utah Jazz, pretty soft on above the break, but also in the corners as well. So Shaedon Sharpe does score out of the pick and roll, but can get it done in transition as a spot-up shooter, pull up 3-pointers on the break. I've seen him do it all. So Shaedon Sharpe looking for 2 3-pointers here, my man. Let's go. Let's do it. So those are the 5 bets that I've already got down that I was happy to share with you all today. Done a pretty good job recording that in a quick amount of time. So you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to give you some more value. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching. I'm going to take you through Props Madness. We're going to go through the players with the best hit rates over their last 5 games, and I'm going to tell you whether it's worth taking or not. But before we get there, I do ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'm dropping bangers like this every single day. Help your boy hit the next milestone, 17,000. I think we could do it today. If this video pops off, we could be at 17,000 subscribers by the time I wake up in the morning. Now, let's talk about these players and their amazing hit rate. Let's go. So jumping into the first game, it's the Orlando Magic versus the 76ers. We're looking at Kelly Oubre here, and we're looking at his points and rebounds, but only if you can catch it at 15.5, which is only available at Bet Rivers. That's got a great hit rate. He's hit that in 6 straight games. But given no one's going to catch it at 15.5, it makes this a little bit irrelevant. So let's jump to the next one. We're looking at Jalen Suggs, and we're looking at his rebounds here. Line's at 3.5. And check this out. He's gone under this in 6 consecutive games. He's failed to exceed 3.5 rebounds. Up against the 76ers, again, not a great rebounding team, but Jalen Suggs gets the pleasure of chasing Tyrese Maxey all over the perimeter. So I get why it could be difficult for him to get rebounds. He's played the 76ers twice this season, though. 7 rebounds in one game, and then only 2 rebounds in the more recent game from 8 rebound chances. So as of late, the rebound chances haven't been there, which makes sense as to why he's going under. But can we guarantee that happens again? I cannot. So this is not something I'm willing to play, but if you like betting on hit rates, Jalen Suggs gone under this in 5 straight games. Another rebounding prop in this game that's gone under in 5 straight games is for Wendell Carter Jr. Rebound props at 7.5. He's played 6 games this season and he's yet to cover 7.5 boards. He has, however, hit 7 rebounds on 3 different occasions. He's played the 76ers once, played 32 minutes, had 6 rebounds from 14 chances. This one, I don't definitely lean to the under here. It makes a whole lot of sense to me. The odds for it aren't fantastic, depending on where you look, though. Minus 120 at Bet Rivers, minus 125 on Bet 365. So Wendell Carter Jr. under 7.5 rebounds might be something that I can mess with, but not necessarily loving too much on the slate. Don't want to force things out for the sake of it, but want to give you guys some value. Let's talk about the next one. It's the Bucks versus the Celtics. And for this one, we're looking at Jason Tatum, and we're looking at under in his assists. Line's at 5.5. He's gone under this in 5 straight games. He was going through this period there where he's diamond up like a mofo, and then all of a sudden the assists have just dropped off. Now, it's got nothing to do with Jason Tatum, I don't think, because his potential assist numbers have still been okay. 11, 9, 10, 14, and 10 again. But these Celtics players just not making buckets off Jason Tatum's passes. The Bucks 11th fewest assists allowed. If we look at how he played against the Bucks last season, under in 3 out of 4 games against them, averaging 4.3 assists. So the under 5.5 assists here for Jason Tatum, it might be something that you could be down with. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I actually think this is quite weird. Like something's changed, probably in their play style or in lineups. Actually, there it is. What has changed is Kristaps Porzingis came back. So in all these games where he was diamond up like crazy, most of it was without Kristaps Porzingis. Let's do this. With Porzingis, he's gone under in 3 straight this season. And then without Porzingis, over in 10 out of 18 games, averaging 5.8 assists. So that's a really interesting one. It might be something that you want to wait for, see if Kristaps Porzingis is going to play or not. If they're both in, then the under 5.5 assists for Jason Tatum could be a good look for you. Now, another one is for man Dame Lillard. And Dame, we're looking at over in his points. He's cashed this in 6 straight games now. I want to bet the over here because I like Dame against Boston because they let him go to work in the pick and roll. He gets to the free throw line, all that type of stuff. Chris Middleton, I don't know how that impacts Dame, but this also feels too good to be true. But it makes a whole lot of sense. So his matchup is fantastic. The Celtics' 3rd most points allowed in the pick and roll this season. And Damian Lillard scores a ton of his points that way. 39% of his points in the pick and roll. They're going to let him play one-on-one or one-on-one against their defenders the whole time. 2 games against Boston this season, 33 points in the first one, 18 free throw attempts in that game. But then the next matchup, he only had 14 points. He was 1 from 8 from deep, 4 from 15 from the field. So if anything, it makes me like it even more. Expecting a different outcome from Dame in this one. 23.5 seems like a low line. I don't mind the over there for Dame Lillard. 23.5 points. For those of you in my VIP and I bet Damian Lillard, it was this moment in time where I realized I liked it. So, but that's got a great hit rate and he's got a great matchup. So that makes a whole lot of sense to me. The other one we're looking at is Derek White, and we're looking at his rebounds and assists. Over the last 5 games, he's been rebounding like a beast. 14, 11, 10, 14, and 15 rebounds plus assists. He's also played the Bucks twice this season with 11 and 12 rebounds and assists. So this was one that I was close to betting as well. And I think it was just like not knowing who was going to play kind of scared me a little bit. Looking at his last 5 games, we've had a game with Porzingis out. This game against the Clippers, everyone was available. Against the Bulls, everybody was there too. And then against the Miami Heat, Porzingis, Holiday, Horford out. And then against the Pistons, Tatum and Holiday were out. But if we just look at his games, let's say worst case scenario to play it safe, we look at games where all 4 of the other guys are in. In those games where Derek White plays with all 4 of them, he's over this in both games, averaging 10.5 rebounds and assists. The Bucks not giving up a ton of assists, but they do give up a lot of rebounds. So Derek White over his rebounds and assists, that might be something that I can muck around with too. My goodness. Okay. I did look at this before and managed to talk myself out of it, but I don't remember what I said. But the rebounds and assists, I think if one of them is missing, if a Tatum's out or Porzingis is not playing, then the rebounds and assists could be a good look here for Derek White. The other one, how could I miss this? It's a Dame Lillard system play. It's his rebounds. The hit rate on this is crazy. 15 out of 18 games. The odds for this are disgusting, though. So I'm not betting it today. When the odds are better, I'd probably have a go at it. But given how consistent he has been rebounding the ball, 7 and 4 rebounds against the Celtics this season, you might want to look at his points plus rebounds, right? Because the hit rate on his points has been great. The rebounds, he's been hitting that as well. Wonder if you get better odds, minus 110 for the points and rebounds, but you can get minus 110 for his points as well. So, yeah, I think best to just take the points now that I think about it. Depending on your sports book, though, so do a little bit of shopping here. But Dame points, Dame rebounds, I like both of those. The hit rate on that is fantastic. Jumping into the next game between the Atlanta Hawks and the Lakers, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be betting this. It's Jalen Johnson over his assist prop. And he's over this in 5 consecutive games, 7, 7, 9, 5, and 5 assists for Jalen Johnson. And his matchup is fantastic. Up against the Lakers, I said it before, giving up a whole lot of assists. So that's something I don't mind. I'm obviously betting on his rebounds plus assists already. So Jalen Johnson could go 10 and 4. He could go 7 and 8. Who knows? But yeah, the assist prop in isolation, I don't think it's such a bad look either. Looking at another one, we've got Zachary Rissachet. Looking at his points prop here, and depending on what you can get it at, if you can catch a 10.5, the hit rate on it's pretty good. He's hit this in 5 consecutive games. Up against the Lakers, weak in transition and in the restricted area. And this guy, that's where he scores all of these points. So I don't think this is such a bad look either. I think a lot of the Hawks can score a lot of points today. I think Trey's going to diamond up. Johnson should score. This guy should score. Dyson Daniels will get buckets. Clint Capella should get buckets as well. DeAndre Hunter off the bench. Bogdanovich will get buckets. I think the Lakers about to get shown up today, but the hit rate on this is fantastic. 5 consecutive games. And if we're talking about consistency here, we're going to look at LeBron James. Look at his threes made. He's gone under 1.5 3-pointers made in 5 consecutive games now. Minus 110 to the under. But he is placing the Hawks, who do allow the most 3-pointers made to this season. Full stop. So I'm all down for betting the unders on the King, but I don't want to bet under 1.5 3-pointers knowing he's probably going to take 5 or 6 of those bastards. So, yeah, I'll pass on that one. The next game, we're looking at the Pacers versus the Bulls. And one with a great hit rate is Miles Turner. And looking at under in his points prop. So he's gone under 16.5 in 5 consecutive games. He's gone under in 15 out of 20 games this season. But line is a little bit high because his matchup is fantastic. Scores in the pick and roll, above the break threes. The Bulls dead last in pick and roll man defense. Bottom 10 in terms of points above the break. 4th worst defensive rating. They give it the most points in the paint. They play at the fastest pace. So, yeah, someone's going to get buckets here. And this is why I was saying Miles Turner, it could be him. But if you just bet on hit rates, Miles Turner unders, you'd probably have a lot of fun with that. Another one is for Zach LaVine, and looking at an under in his points, rebounds, and assists. He's gone under this in 5 consecutive games against the Wizards, Magic, Celtics, Nets, and Spurs. Up against the Pacers today, and his matchup honestly isn't that great in terms of scoring points. The Pacers' weak point is they do allow a lot of points in the paint. Zach LaVine not scoring too many points down there, only 35% of his points. He has been rebounding well and diming up, but he hasn't been scoring, rebounding, and diming all at the same time. So I get why the PRA under could be a good look, and I honestly don't hate that play. But the Pacers are dog shit at the moment, so someone's going to take advantage of their shitness, and it could be Zach LaVine. That's all I'm saying. So they're the only two with really consistent hit rates over the last 5 games. Let's jump into the next game. It's the Kings versus the Spurs. And looking at over the last 5, I guess the first one is a Malik Monk PRA, but we've already spoken about that. Another one, actually, there's nothing else with 100% hit rate in this game, believe it or not. So it's only Malik Monk stuff. So Malik Monk, let me just show you more Malik Monk magic. I'm taking his PRA. But if we look at his last 5 games, he's gone over his points prop in every single game. His assist prop at 4.5, he's gone over in every game, but that's moved to 5.5. His 3-pointers made, that line's at 2.5. He's gone over that in 5 consecutive games, including 5 3-pointers made against the Spurs last time. So if you haven't bet the Malik Monk points, rebounds, and assists, maybe I can interest you in a Malik Monk 3-pointers made prop. That could interest you. But yeah, Malik Monk, the only consistent performer over the last 5 games. Heading into the Timberwolves versus the Warriors. See what we can find right here. And in this game, there is no player who has hit their line at 100% rate over the last 5 games. And it makes sense. Players coming in and out of the lineup, lines are changing, roles are changing. So I get that and how difficult that can be. And then we jump into the last game. It's the Jazz versus Trailblazers. And I'm sorry to say, but it's very much the same. These guys have a lot of ins and outs in their lineups. It's hard for anyone to have some consistency in their numbers. So no one's hit in that. But hopefully the hit rate analysis was of value to you. If it was, please let me know in the comment section below. If it wasn't, let me know as well. Because if this means nothing to you, then I will stop doing it. It's as simple as that. But you know me, always looking out for the gang, trying to give you guys as much value as possible. But I do encourage you to share the bets that you have and the reasons why. Let's grow, let's learn, let's all eat together. So let me know in the comment section what's happening there. And make sure you sign up to Rebet and send me an email so you can get yourself in the draw to win $100. They'll give you a $10 deposit match as well, or deposit match up to 100 really. But I'm only asking you to deposit 10 here. And then you've got 10 free dollars to bet with, right? But I'll leave it up to you guys. Appreciate you all for watching. If you made it this far, I'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.